All
And I
right.
also want to say what's going to be in the class I've added that you don't even
We
know.
are live, everyone.
Oh,
I'm so happy to see everyone and on the stream today to talk about how to activate that force within to become a Jedi warrior, a Jedi in training, and use those superpowers that we have been given this lifetime that have been laying dormant and sound asleep in so many of us until they get trained on how to use them. And I want to share a little bit about our amazing guest today, Tamara Calder Richardson, who's one of my very, very dear friends. And over time with her, now, usually you get a formal introduction. You are not getting a formal introduction today. You're going to get my perception of my relationship with this amazing, astounding woman who I couldn't even believe she reached out to me a few years ago. But what I have learned in working with her, so I've watched her be on various events that I help curate and produce, and every presentation she ever gave was astounding. I mean, it was on the highest of levels. They were clear. They had these PowerPoints, and she was able to take every subject and dive deeper and deeper and deeper, as if she had personally witnessed Atlantis or these healing tools. And I'm sitting in this Atlantis conference, and you have to get that I'm kind of working the conference. I'm the host. And all I could think of was, oh my God, this woman is my teacher. This is the teacher I'm supposed to have here on the planet this lifetime. There is no other teacher. And Tamara, I will say that I never sign up for people's anything. And
I know.
never, because I can kind of have this little weird thing about it is that if I study with someone else, maybe who knows what will happen. But during the Atlantis event, I kept going, oh my God, she's always been my teacher. I know her. And this is after a year or two of becoming close friends, realizing that she was my mentor teacher. And so when she offered what we're going to be talking about, I teach about your superpowers. Listen, we're all come down here, we're born, we have superpowers, and they're dormant until we learn to activate them. And she sent out a notice about her superpower class. So I said, oh, I know how I teach it. Honest to God, this is what I said. I know how I teach it. I'm gonna be a little fly in there. I'm gonna see how she's teaching it because I respect her so much.
A
I
cute
take her class. She can't keep quiet because I know. But I took her class, and it was her free master class. It was great. It was so great, guys, that I have been doing more channeling and more confident of my own gifts ever since then. So I'm here to humbly introduce my dearest friend, Tamara Calder Richardson, because we are calling in people who really want to develop your gifts on all levels, all levels. So Tamara, I'm so excited to just be included in your life.
Oh, I feel the same way too. And it was so organic. And I think that, meeting you and our connecting and just energetically connecting, that's how it should be. If you have to put with any relationship, any kind of relationship, if you have to work very hard at it and you start seeing like, gosh, this is difficult, it shouldn't, relationships and friendships they really shouldn't have to be like that. And one thing that I have to, now that you spoke so highly of me, and I appreciate that, but in my heart, my heart, and that I'm really, really into and really dedicated, and I'm like you, I have a really high work ethic, and I bust my butt like you do, so I think we have a mutual admiration there. But when I met you, I didn't know those things, and I met you online. My heart connected to yours. You said that you did the same, which, see, you at least were brave enough to share that. A lot of people, they don't tell you things. You got to go around guessing. You're like, I don't know. But the thing that I love so much about you as a person, which is transcended through you and business and everything, is that you have number one, a really good, really hardworking work ethic. You're ethical. You just know right from wrong, and you don't, condemn anyone, but you're like, okay, that's not going to work. And you really know that. And you also you're willing to do what it takes to make something happen, and you're a team player. And very few people do that, but you're honest above all things. And let me tell you what, honesty, and I don't mean like I'm telling you this that you have a fat ass just to be honest, not those people, okay?
Thanks, Tamara. Okay,
Not
now you're trying to tell me I have a fat ass.
no, no,
Okay.
no, no. I'm talking about not those people out there. You know how they sell you something like, and it's really like a, a backhanded compliment, a slap in the face. But you're honest in terms of you honor your own soul and you honor others, and that's the way it should be. And we shouldn't. And coming from the South, I don't know if some of you can tell I'm from the South. I'm from Charlotte, North Carolina, but I have a long history of Southern family here and so forth. We're not really, how do you say it? It's bred into us to not really say our feelings and to not really um, um, someone being outright rude to us. And or at least say, oh, I disagree. And the thing about I love about you, Joan, is that you give me an honest answer, and you don't beat around the bush, and it allows me to be more that way, because I had to undo that part of me,
Got
to
it.
power. I had to undo that. We all came from somewhere. But yeah, when you signed it, when I saw your face in the class, I kept saying, we have a celebrity angel here today.
That is too funny. Okay, let's get to the subject of, I named the show about your force, activating that force within. Because in the end, if we learn how to use these superpowers, which I want you to define, but when we learn how to do that, we are like a Jedi warrior. We can
Yeah.
learn to move things with our brain, with our mind. We can use our consciousness. We can
Yes.
read other people. So we have these gifts that are unseen. It's not like this bottle of water, it's an unseen gift. But I want to talk about why it's so important to activate this force within us, especially during these times.
Um, yeah, and that's why I just want to go ahead and give a heads up. I'm offering a free class this Sunday, but I'm going to tell you why you need to be there, and it's a rare opportunity, because I know it's a rare opportunity, because I know you're being out there, having spiritual gifts, not really trusting certain people, or they may know when you talk about all the spiritual arts, that's I have a whole another course that's even bigger, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about the free masterclass training. But the reason that it's so important is I have, for people, how do I say this? Even if you want to use it privately for your own life and your own family, you want to know, is that real estate agent lying to you? A
Right.
person, and you know what I used to do in business when I owned an ad agency? Is that I would do this little game. Sidekicks and mediums do this little game. They do like how many stairs, how many elevators till it lands. They do things like this all the time, right? So I was like that as a kid. Who's going to come in the room, or I do these little games, and that does help polish things. Or I would read people's energy. But when you can see someone's intentions, it really helps. So even if you use it personally. So the thing that I would do in business is I would say, so is this project, and I may kind of get a sense, it may be like when I own an ad agency, 15,000, but I would say something really big, like 50,000. And I would say, so the budget here for this, because they would never tell you. They're like, never tell you. And I say, so the budget's 50. And so they thought they were doing good if they told you it was lower, and they would go, either they would lower and they go, no, it's more 15. Are you interested? Because it would be a lot of work, maybe months of work. And I have to have other people, working on the project. Or they wouldn't say anything, and they would project a number, a mental image above their head of the figure. And then I would go, 1,500, 3 months of work. No, I don't want this project. Because you figure you're going to hire people. I'm not going to make
Okay, so you were able to project yourself into the future and see if this was a good choice.
Nope. Nope. That wasn't it. I read his mind. It's
You read his
like,
mind. Okay, right. You read his mind, and
I
you were
read his
able to
mind.
see
So
because you could tune in. So those are the superpower gifts and
one
skills
of them.
that we need to hone in
Yeah.
on so that we can tell if our doctors are telling us the truth.
Right, right. Everything.
We can,
Even I would use it for flirting. I would say, "So,
no.
do you like so and so and so?" And I would say, not sexual, just things about, you know, the opposite sex or whatever, but or whatnot. And then they would go, either if they didn't get embarrassed, then I thought, oh, they're not into me. But if they got embarrassed, I was like, I gotcha. Okay, we'll go further with this. So I would do things like, and I would read the first thing that came in their mind, and they would project a mental image picture. And some of those were censored. But it let you know, is this a romantic connection or not?
That's important. That's important because you know what? I am single. I am letting the world know that I'm calling in my true love. And actually this is valid. So even valid when you're deciding where to go, tuning in and your first thought about maybe the outcome or whether this would be a good thing. So
Um, Well, I think it goes with this. There's a frequency that has to be there. It's kind of like when you turn on your oven. You'll see me use examples. Don't I use examples a lot? I use examples to the point you're like, oh God, is this like your granddaddy talking? He's going to tell another story. But people,
I just really want everyone to know why this is so important.
Well, I think people get caught up in techniques sometimes, and I want to go there real quick. Spiritual techniques, which are helpful, but I think there's elementary things that I notice people don't have. They just don't have it. Even the people that are practitioners. And as I told you, Joan, that I teach the spiritual teachers. I teach the spiritual teachers. I don't know why I didn't say calling all spiritual teachers. What does a teacher mean? That means that you've been doing this a while, okay? Probably not this lifetime alone. And so why I kept 17 years, my guides and angels kept saying, you got to do this. You got to, oh, I don't want to do this. I said, oh, what about if and I still occasionally do that. And I'll say, what about if they do something wrong? I teach them, they go out and do something crazy. They said, well, that's on them. He said, they're already doing that. And I was like, oh, okay. So I've had personal experience starting from my 6 near-death experiences and being in different altered states, controlling that coming back. We used to be the test in Atlantis and in Egyptian times, if you could kind of sort through these different states and come back. I wouldn't recommend it. There's other ways, and I don't think it's necessary. There's ways that people do shamanic stuff and ayahuasca. I'm not into that personally because I think that just seems, a lot of people love their little bells and whistles, but honestly, I'm kind of by nature an impatient person, so I like to just go there.
Okay,
I like to just go there.
I want to share some other insights here with you. So I then said, I told you how I decided Tamara was going to be my teacher, and I signed up for her class, her master class. Now, the thing I'm most afraid of is having anyone watch me do anything. And part of her master class was this direct experience on how you can look a stranger, we're all strangers to each other. And we did she taught us how to do it in a sense. And then she monitored us in such a way that she would help us read this other person. And not that I don't read people, I do, but I didn't know how to do it her way, which is like knowing nothing about you. And she brought out and encouraged each of us in such a way that by the time I left, my superpower of reading others was far more developed than when I started. Now, it was, I can't say it was actually enjoyable because I was anxious about it, but the results were really positive. And the more I think about these superpowers, the more I get that we're in vulnerable times now, and knowing how to read other people and knowing
it's critical.
If our antenna's up and we get a warning, don't go to the right, go left. Like how we respond to that is really important, I think, in our survival in the next period of time.
Are you kidding? Okay, so I'm just going to talk for real now. Just every day, you look at your whatever it is, Instagram or your with the little TikTok things or whatever they have. And everybody's always talking about something. For example, someone sent me something last night, and we saw those little blue aliens at the mall, right? And people said they were a holographic projection. Now they're saying Antarctica, that it was the mall. If you flip Antarctica, the coordinates is actually the freaking Vegas Mall. So I'm thinking, how would they have, that can't be a coincidence. So you're looking at all these things, and there's so much disinformation. I'm not saying that's not, correct or not, but you're looking at so much. You have to be able to discern it. And even the ones, and of course, that's your connection to God. That's a whole different thing. And that's just a surrender and blending with the divine and your higher self. And I work with Christ a lot. People know that about me. But he brings me other religious figures that I didn't know that are amazing, like Catholic saints. He's brought them to me. So we have a big team helping us. And I find that it's important to understand your information as the vessel. Look, I like my toys. I mean, people have their little pendulums and their little doohickeys and all their little stuff. All right. But the thing is, we are the main instrument. We are the divine instrument, and we need to learn how to do that. And I think you really hit on something, Joan, is being humble. It's important to be humble in anything that you do, this spiritual work. And when I see someone in the spiritual arts business and they're arrogant, it's a real turnoff, because to me, I'm seeing there's not a connection. How could you not be connected with the Heavenly Father, Mother, Father, God, Creator, whatever you want to call it, and have that. Now, I don't think people are a bad person if they are that way. I think they just got a little disconnected. So the humbling and surrendering and being present is very important to learning. So we are all teachers and we are all students. And I was told, and that's who is attracted to me, and also my Seeking Heaven channel, which I've had Joan on, is spiritual leaders. I'm not saying I wouldn't be interested in a beginner. But I can energetically link in to one or both people with their permission, and I can mentally see what they're saying. And I can also stand back by location, because I was by location when I was dead. I can stand back and I can look at and view it, and I can go in spiritually. I do that all the time. I do interdimensional travel. I was dead 2 hours. You can learn a lot of things in these different realms. And then Jesus is my teacher. I spent time with him for 3 days when I was in a induced coma after being dead, covered up with a sheet and all that. So there are things we can do. And what I have trained with John Holland, Tony Stockwell from the UK, him with 8 years, and Lisa Williams 8 years, and certified by Lisa Williams. I knew a lot of this coming in, but it was good for me to put myself. I kind of added it up. It was about 600 psychic mediums over the years and channelers that I trained with, and you got to be willing to put yourself out there. And what's the worst thing that can happen? If you suck, even if you're professional, guess what? All you can do is get better. There's certain areas that we may not be really skilled at. Like I have a friend who's a medium. She will not touch psychic stuff. I'm like, why? Well, I'll be deciding from people. I said, do I look like I decide for people? Okay, look, based on the situation at hand, you've got, many, many outcomes. But the one I see that you would really like is this one. But you can do anything you want to do. And I said, does that resonate? Now, one thing I noticed that I've had personally with me with a lot of readers is that they don't make contact with you. They're not looking at you, and you can blend not with you can look at a higher level on the soul level, and you can go in and immediately get a read what they're kind of about energetically. But you have to somewhat care about the other person to a degree in that moment in time of being service. You have to care about that person's concern. And I think it's important. It depends on your level of excellence. But the good news, if you think you're good, you're probably not as good as you think you are, but you can get better. And here's why. Most people don't train in all the spiritual arts. I also did ghost hunting. I've seen a lot of stuff. I've also seen I've seen demons. I've seen stuff that's scientifically impossible, but I've seen it. I've seen freaking fairies. elementals. I had to chase out of some lady's yard, and I said, just stick some food over here for it. Just don't touch the chupacabra. I mean, and so I've been a part of this paranormal world too, and I've seen duality. Not, I don't mean out here in the world, but I've seen dark and light. I've seen two fallen angels. I've seen angelic angels, which were pretty freaking awesome. I saw Michael in my bedroom after I did battle for 3 or 4 years for this one lady helping her. And my whole room lit up blue. He showed up, and then he was like a supernova blast in my room. And so, how do you work with your guides? How do you understand the symbolisms they're telling you? Because they work through symbolism. When I see Mickey Mouse, I think, did you just go to Disney World, or do I think Florida? Is there a Florida connection? What's the Florida connection in Disney World? And people go, you're fishing. Well, you're not, because where Disney World come up? And they'll go, well, yeah, my uncle or my brother just went there. So then I'll go, okay, your mom wants to talk about your brother. And I'll go, hold on a minute. They'll go, okay, he's in a very unhappy marriage. Do you know that? Well, they've had problems. You need to pull him to the side and talk to him. Your mama's like telling you, you need to help your brother. Well, we don't talk to them. Well, you need to. And so you can learn to understand you, the vessel, and take it to a higher level, because we need all of us. We need to quit being petty. We need we need to be humble. We need to help each other and quit being so freaking arrogant, because there's no one I've met all these years like me. Okay. There's no one I've met like Joan, and there's probably no one like you. So just from the exercises that we did in that, which you'll see this Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern time, 12 p.m. Pacific time, and it's free, which you'll sign up. Joan will put it up here in a minute, but you'll see different styles. The style's cool. I encourage that, because some people are more touchy-feely. They go in. One lady went in, I think it was Deidre, not say her name, but I was impressed. She bam, a bunch of past life stuff. But the problem with that is the person ready to handle all that emotionally? Because some people say, you've had a past life in Egypt, you slaughtered a bunch of people there. You could just traumatize them. So you have to learn what to say and what not to say. Now, people like Jonah, we're pretty high confront. We're like, God, I know. Well, I'm working it out now. But a lot of people would have a meltdown if you told them that. And if you see their husband or wife is having an affair, you do not ever tell someone that. If someone's going to die, you do not tell them. This isn't why. It doesn't help. That's for their journey to go through. But your guides may be telling you that so you can be kind and have grace and understanding, and maybe help empower them.
All right. This is amazing. Why don't you take a deep breath for a second? I want to absorb everything you're saying, because we know how much information you just threw at it. So one of my very dear friends is on the line also. And one of the things she really appreciated is the frequency for which you come from, which is similar to hers. You can see it on the screen. Mother, Father, Creator, and Christ consciousness. Yeshua is my teacher. So, sharing that this is not of the lower frequencies. These are the higher frequencies. Now, I love, one of the reasons I'm bringing Tamara on is that these are important tools to navigate 2024 and beyond, because honestly, we are in muddy waters, and knowing and having that direct connection to source, to your guides, to our guardians is critical. And being able to recognize in real time, like you have 60 seconds to decide if you're going to get out of there. And part of what's coming up in the next period of time is going to demand this instantaneous knowingness. And being trained in it is why we talk about this force is within us. We can all be like, what's his name in Star Wars, who's able to pick up that spaceship with his mind. We can also be like the student who goes, it's too hard. I can't do it. And we're in a time now that you're here on this planet now because you chose to be, that you knew that these were the times that you would develop the skills so you can step into your own power, your own force, and it's required. It's required to effectively navigate now, because if you're awake, you understand the situation. And so that's why this training is important. Also knowing, and I want to talk about this, Tamara, of the forces that have really opposed us in knowing this. It's like,
Okay.
why don't we know it? Well, you don't have to go heavy into all the deep and dark, but like enough to make
Okay.
us
Okay.
understand that we were deliberately lied to about these gifts and these powers and the nature of our connection to our creator. So maybe you can address that.
Yeah, I'd love to. So here's the thing. We got a labyrinth. Okay. Now I'm talking to my generations, lifetimes of light workers, seekers. You know what I'm talking about. We are the same. The time of being the lone wolf and ego is gone if we're going to survive. I'm not an alarmist. You don't even hear me talk about this, but I'm saying this because we're at that point. We need to come together. If you even look at a lot of our timeline in the past, many of us have been burned as a witch. We don't even like talking about that. Those are not those times. It's not going to happen. You may have occasionally a person that may say something negative. I know plenty of, how do I say this? Very, well, I'll just use an example. People that are Catholic. Okay. They've taught mediumship is bad, for example, that they're born like this. And a lot of people are born like this, but they never develop the gifts because of their religious whatever, right? And that is oppressive. Because one way to look at it is, how could God, the creator, make a mistake and put in these beautiful gifts within us? The other aspect, the way I look at it, if there is darkness in the world, and I see it mainly in people, although I have seen demonic entities, and they like to oppress people. They'll possess if they'll let you spiritually through different things. But the thing is, I don't worry about that because I stand with with the Most High, with God, Christ, the angels, and there's more. I mean, there's there's a lot going on. That's a whole different topic. But we have a lot of assistance. All I'm saying, no matter what religion or no religion, doesn't matter. We got the angels and everyone around us, but we need to see that. If you just, one of the things, matter of fact, it was a lady in the class. I don't know if she's watching, Lynn, if you're watching, and she said, "Oh, I have problems with energy and shut things down." This is another one with people that are watching that are like me. I used to do that. You know what handled it? Sometimes the easiest solutions are the best. When I was a little girl, my grandparents had a hosiery mill. They made men's socks, and at the end of the day, it was a big. They had machines, huge, right? 38 machines, and they would go. He would say, "Anna, pull this conveyor latch down," and I didn't really do it. He did it for me, but I visualized a huge switch coming off, and so when I'm around electrical stuff, I pull that freaking switch. Another thing I do, if I want to be in town and I don't want someone to see me or have a lot of conversation, I put a God bubble around me, and then I put a mirror on the outside so that I'm just invisible. Or I'll say, "I'm invisible." And people will notice me, but they won't notice me. They'll kind of just smile and keep walking on. So there's little tricks that we can do, but we are the leaders when I don't know the play out. I do get prophetic information. I do. Even if I did, I probably wouldn't tell you. I'm just going to be honest. And we're shifting. Timelines are shifting. But we shouldn't worry about that if we know that we're supposed to be here now. But we're the ones that need to help put sanity in there. If you look at how dangerous psychic mediums, intuitives, and healers are, look at the biblical days and look at the times where they were sought out. They were, who was it? Let me think. Who was it? And I think, was it Old Testament? Yeah, it was. It was Elijah let them off, but it was, oh God, the time of King Herod, they killed 100 prophets. And so prophets is a word for people that have information they shouldn't know. So we were sought out because we're dangerous. We need to be leaders in our community, but we can't do that if we're arrogant. We need to hone in on our gifts. I have advanced abilities. I can do that. And I've held it to the test with several people around the world. Is it perfect? No, but you got to have your accuracy come in 85 to 95%. And you've got to know that you do. Because when people come to you, and if the answer is, I don't know, have ethics and say, I don't know. They're not telling me. I just don't know. Sometimes we get blocks on information because it's against the soul contract to discuss it. But there are so many things that we can do right now instead of being so focused on whatever it is we're focused on. And the biggest investment you'll ever make is in yourself.
I agree with you that this is really important for you don't have to be like a working psychic or someone who wants to be a coach or a reader or a tarot card. This is really not about that. This is really about learning how to access your skills so you can walk in the world safely and empowered and as a leader, and you can activate people and do your heart's work, knowing you're divinely protected and knowing that you're actually aligned with that voice within, which is guiding you at all times. So in a sense, it's teaching you how to be able to trust that voice within immediately. Instant yes, knowing which way to go. And the more we hone in on it, the better it is for not just you, but for the people around you. And right? I mean, that's the
No,
truth.
no, absolutely. And I was going to say, to take that further on with everything that's going on in the world, let's say there was some real trouble going on. We're not going to spell what that is because I don't want to manifest it. But let's just say, not that there isn't already, but something going on. People that are intuitive, like the people watching, me, Joan, that wouldn't you think that I'd say, hey, Joan, I'm getting some weird visions. What are you getting? Well, if we're connected to helping humanity, connected to God, about coming from a love vibration, not to sound hippy dippy, but that's what it is. That's what Jesus taught, love vibration. And so if we're coming from that and we're all getting similar information, well, guess what? That's validation. That's
Right.
validation. We need to be connected to one another and we need to continue our training. And then you need to perfect what you're doing in all areas and then move up and get your tribe and then you train them. Maybe it's your local community, but we need to do this everywhere because there's about I don't know if I believe this. I'm just stating what I read. Dolores Cannon said there's about 1% of us out there. I think there's more than that. Okay. I think there's more. I think even my husband, who's would you consider a normal person, but he has certain things he's really good at. Like he always knows, always the first time he meets someone, if he can trust them or not. He's never been wrong.
And it's growing, the more that we focus on our light and shine it and learn to connect, then the more that we spread that. It just is inherent in our nature. Okay, so how can people sign up for this Sunday training? And what does that entail?
Yes.
I have the links. I'm going to post them again, guys.
And also, do you have that image that I sent you that you could pop in?
Oh, totally forgot about it. Good thing you reminded me.
Okay, I'll talk a minute. I'll talk a second. And
nope, that's not it. I put it up over right here. There you go.
So this is learn how to activate your spiritual gifts. I'll go into the first part. We are going to start on time. I don't want to lock anyone out. I really want everyone involved. So I don't know how long we're going to hold the doors open, quite honestly, because I don't want, at some point, it's a privacy issue with people that are training. But what we're going to do, this is not going to have replays, no replays for you to look at because people are going to be training and you wouldn't want yourself training. You don't want to feel you have privacy. So this is live and this will be on Portal Day and that will be March 3rd and at 3 Eastern time. So 3 or at 12 p.m. Pacific time. Now, when you register below and you hit activate, you get this free. For some reason, and just to want to let you know, I haven't even told my friend here, Joan, but I've been having difficulty with the links. Gosh, technology, it's crazy. And it's through the school system that I purchased. So I've been on the deal talking to tech people. If for some reason you have any issues, just email at info@academyofdivinewisdom.com. And once you sign up through that, you shouldn't have a problem. I'm going to send a letter. You've got a letter there with the Zoom link for this weekend once you sign up. And once you sign up, I'll be sending everyone letters that will be there. So we do have a limitation to 100. We have 90 people so far. It's crazy. Not that all 90 will show up, but uh, I don't know. I doubt it. But we got a pretty full house. So I want you to come. I want you to take benefit of this and put your ego or concerns or worries or whatever aside and just see how you'll do. Now, those of you once you do this, I will be offering starting March 14th through May a bi-monthly. Was going to do 90 minutes, but I'm going to do 2 hours each twice a month. That's 4 hours for 133 a month. I'm just doing it for 3 months. I don't know if I'll ever do it again. I don't know if I'll do training again. I don't know. Okay. But for right now, that's what I'm offering. And so it's not like I'll do it again later on. There may be no later on. If you notice other people that are higher up, they don't even do this. I mean, you look at certain people, they don't train, like Teresa Caputa, she didn't train. John Edwards, they don't train. I mean, it's a really low price, and I did that on purpose. So I think it was at what $67.50 a class, which is super cheap. So I think that it's cheaper than my Pilates every month. Anyway,
No, I signed up for the class because I like the idea of training and getting feedback and learning how to be even more accurate than I've been and increase it. But actually, I noticed when I was out in the world after just the master class and I was doing these readings, I was like, wow, it was coming in so much faster, all the information. So I want to leave everyone with that. I want to leave everyone with the idea that you remember you came down here for a mission and purpose.
right.
You have all the tools you need for this mission and purpose, but learning how to practice and use them so that when the moment comes, you don't kick yourself and go, God, I wish I knew what they were thinking. I would have avoided that. You can learn how to you can learn how to react on the spot. And you can really hone in walking your soul purpose this lifetime. So, and which is what I'm all about, Tamara.
Well, I was impressed because I put you on the spot and you wanted to do your normal process and your date and name and all. And that's okay because I have had, when I first started out, the funny
I was terrible in the class.
No, you did great. You did great. But I said, no, go from your heart. And you went, oh. And you drop it to your heart and see us starseeds understand dropping it to our heart. But when we have our little gizmos around, like I used to light a candle every time I did mediumship. So every time I want to be romantic with my husband, we'd light a candle. Well, guess who shut up? The freaking tons of spirit people. So I had to shut that down. You don't need, because you need to trust. It was weird. I have some funny stories, and it's this is where we can learn and share from one another. But another thing too is because when I came, I don't tell a lot of people this. I don't even know if you know this, Joan. Not to throw a cherry on top, but it's the truth. I never say this, but I'm just going to go ahead and say it because I've had so many white light, God, Jesus NDEs, not hellish ones, or not expanded my consciousness, but like these higher level ones. I came back with something a little different. So if people allow me, permission based, a lot of times that I can raise their energy or activate them, and I can, in a good way, and healing takes place. When I used to do mediumship, people would start being healed, and I thought it was a total accident. But think about it, when we're all using this beautiful divine energy, this place that, we call heaven, we can bring heaven here, then that's what we should bring in our sessions, not all these gadgets and, go it this way. And the other thing, the chakras, is great to have that lined up. I don't even work with that. I mean, yeah, I understand it. I'm good at it. I know how to open and close, but I now just go boom, straight crown chakra, expanded, huge. And so these techniques I use, I'm impatient. So I like to go for source quick. I go right to source quick, and you can too.
I love it, guys. Really, if you're interested in learning how to navigate this and really work with these tools, which is what I think is one of the most exciting things. I mean, we have these gifts. It's amazing. I learned how to spoon bend, and now I'm looking to do it with my mind. These are gifts that we can do. One day I'll lift a spaceship using that consciousness, or the chair, or even have my dinner brought to me telepathically. We can do this. I'm kind of giving it lighthearted, but we can do it. So guys, sign up for the master class on Sunday. just do it because you're curious. Do it because you go, okay, she says we have gifts. Like, what's it like? What's the next level for me? Why? So that you can be more powerful in your life. You can have
Yes.
greater confidence and presence. So, Tamara, just one last time, tell them where to find you and where they can register for the class.
Yeah, so go to academyofdivinewisdom.com. If you look under events, you'll see the free thing Sunday. You'll also see some. Well, I've already had a couple people. You just go. That you can just sign up for the thing coming up bi-monthly. That's something I'm going to offer for. It's super cheap. My guides kept saying no, and if you look at what I charge per hour for reading, it isn't. And the reason I'm higher is because I've seen my accuracy and feedback. Okay, that's why you do there's, how do I say it? Some people do a lot, and I'm like, nah. For that, people get angry if you're not at a certain level. So everyone, wherever you are, even if you're at a certain, there's another level above that. Even if you think you topped out, and I'm always trying to shoot higher. So sign up at academyofdivinewisdom.com, look under events, and you can see the superpower training this Sunday, and you'll see if you might be interested to go ahead and do coaching bi-monthly. And the reason I did it bi-monthly is that when I was asking my guys, I'm going back and forth having these conversations, they're like, would you go to the gym once a month and would it work? I went, no. So I thought, well, we got to do this at least twice a month and then reassess. And what I'm offering with this is I'm offering a 30-minute after the class assessment. I'm kind of looking at everybody too, where they've come and what skill levels they are. So I'm at the end, you're going to get an assessment from me, how far you've come.
I think that's so exciting.
For
So,
free.
guys, thank you. Check out Tamara's class. I wouldn't have her on if she wasn't part of my inner circle, and I thought it was important, honestly. And even to the point that I'm taking that class of hers, because I too know that I have to even go higher with my skills as I activate all of you. How would I know what to activate all of you if I'm not highly trained to register how to help connect you to the divine? So, guys, I am Joan of Angels, and you can check me out at joanofangels.com. And as a matter of fact, you can pick up the free ebook on living and knowing your soul-filled purpose, which is really part of all of this work as we really learn how to connect with what we're here to do. So I will see you next time. You have an amazing day. Remember, you are here for a reason, and you are a beautiful, love-filled soul, and we are so happy you are in our life. And if you love this work, please like, share, and subscribe. And we appreciate you for
Love you,
all.
Joan, and love everybody watching. Thank you.
All right. Okay.
Blessings, everybody.
See you all next time.